In the ancient world, one name struck absolute terror into the hearts of men: Sparta. They were not merely soldiers. They were a society engineered entirely for the art of war. At just 7 years old, boys were taken from their homes and entered the agoge. It was a brutal system designed to weed out the weak and forge minds of absolute iron. On the battlefield, they fought as one. The legendary phalanx was an impenetrable wall of bronze. To break their line was impossible. Every man protected the brother standing right next to him. For a Spartan, retreat was the ultimate disgrace. They lived by a simple, terrifying law: return with your shield or on it. There was no middle ground and no surrender. Even in Homer's Odyssey, when Telemachus visits Sparta, he is struck by its overwhelming, quiet power. Homer paints Sparta as a place of supreme discipline, where even a king's palace feels built for war. They did not build city walls. The Spartans believed their men were the only walls they needed. That is why, thousands of years later, the shadow of Sparta still commands our respect. The most expensive object ever built by humans wasn't a rocket or a skyscraper. It was a lighthouse that no longer exists. Hot take, but the Lighthouse of Alexandria deserves way more attention than the pyramids. Built around 280 BC, this thing towered around 100 meters tall, basically a 30-story building made of stone, standing on the Egyptian coast for over 1,600 years. At night, a massive fire and polished bronze mirrors reflected light so far out to sea that sailors could spot it from miles away. It survived empires rising and falling. It survived Cleopatra. It survived the collapse of Rome. Then a series of earthquakes slowly crumbled it into the Mediterranean. And in the 1400s, the last stones were reused to build a fort. Think about that. One of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, gone, recycled into a castle. And most people today have never even heard of it. If you find this kind of history fascinating, please like and subscribe. When we think of legendary ancient warriors, we often imagine the epic meat feasts of Homer's Odyssey. But what about the Roman gladiators, the ultimate cage fighters of the ancient world? Did they feast on meat too? Actually, science reveals their diet was almost entirely vegetarian. They were known as the barley men. They gorged on carbs like barley and beans to build a thick layer of fat. This fat protected their vital organs. And for recovery, they drank a tonic of charred wood ashes mixed with water, rich in calcium and magnesium. This is a massive contrast to the Bronze Age warriors of the Odyssey, who prized spit-roasted beef and rich wine. Gladiators needed fat padding for showmanship, while Homeric soldiers needed lean strength for long marches. So the next time you think of gladiator strength, think less of steak and more of a hearty bowl of barley. Homer, the guy who wrote the 2 most famous poems in history, probably never existed. Ancient Greeks believed he was blind, but there's zero proof he was one person at all. The Iliad and Odyssey were sung, not written, passed down for centuries before anyone put ink to papyrus. Here's the wild part. The Odyssey has a moment where Odysseus's dog recognizes him after 20 years, then immediately dies. That's the first known heartbreaking pet scene in literature. Also, Achilles wasn't invincible, except for his heel, in the original poems. That detail came way later. And the Trojan horse? Barely mentioned in the Iliad. The war ends before it even happens. Ancient audiences already knew the story, so spoilers didn't matter. Here's my question for you. If these tales survived 3,000 years by word of mouth alone, what stories from today will still be told then?